Hello, fellow risk takers, and welcome to my worst investment ever. Stories of loss to keep you winning. In our community, we know that to win in investing, you must take risk, but to win big, you've got to reduce it. Today's episode is sponsored by my online course, How to Start Building Your Wealth Investing in the Stock Market. It's a complete, proven, step-by-step course to guide you from novice to confident investor. To get an amazing 35% discount on this course or any other of my courses, go to myworstinvestmentever.com/deals. My name is Andrew Stotts from A Stotts Investment Research, and I'm here with featured guest Kavee Chukitkasem. Kavee,
Yep.
Are you ready to rock?
Yep.
Yeah.
Rep. Yeah.
Fantastic. And I'm going to just introduce you briefly to the audience. Kavee is a strategist and an analyst that I've seen and worked aside in the Thai stock market for decades. And he's the deputy managing director of Kasikorn Securities and completed his master's of finance from the University of Toledo in Ohio, where I grew up. So, Kavee, take a minute and fill in any further tidbits about your life.
Okay. My life is so simple. I'm born in Bangkok, Thailand. Okay, and go study abroad, but nobody know. Not too many know that I am a graduate from the chemical engineering in Thailand. Okay, and after I'm graduate engineering, that I'm not interested in engineering. I'm interested in the economics. So I'm studied 2 classes in the university about the economics, and I love it. And so I'm planning my life. I should go into the finance subject for the graduate school. So I go into the USA and study the finance there, and I love it because I'm an engineer. I love the number. And then going back to the finance field, that's very interesting to go to my career. So,
and when did you start? When did you
start my career
as an analyst?
25 years ago. 25 when I aged 75. Yeah, I'm 50 now. 25 years ago, and I applied for the job only for analyst, not anything else.
And only basically, you've been doing that your whole career.
I'm doing that for almost 20 years, and the last 5 years, I went to be the head of the sales department because I met with many clients who invest in the stock market, and I learned something that the analyst work is sometimes not help the investor much. So I went to the sales and trying to be sales analyst. So I have experience in analysis of the company and trying to explain simple word to the investor, because sometimes it's very difficult for the investor to understand the financial ratio and very difficult to understand what is the fair price came from. It's all the finance complexity. So that's why I come to make simple.
Yeah. And why is it that most analysts never really understand that? You know, I mean, like most analysts don't understand their clients really.
It's just like the other company, right? When they produce something, they think that they produce the best thing for the client. Just like the engineer, they produce a mobile phone, they produce whatever electronic appliance, they think is the best. But when you go into the sales, they cannot sell it. They cannot sell it because the product is still not good. Because I think this happens in every aspect, in every
a great point.
sector.
That's a great point. I mean, it's not just, I've always looked at it as the analyst in research, but it's true. You know, nobody, very few people can introduce a product or a service, you know, perfectly. You have to feel what the customer wants and needs.
Right.
Yeah.
But they analysts have a feedback from sales, not from the client. Maybe that's have some mistake on that. That's why. And analysts always think that investors know everything. That they said. They said a very technical word. Very, very technical word.
Yes.
I think customer doesn't understand that at all.
I'm reducing the discount rate because I've adjusted my beta.
Right. Yeah, right. What a beta. I think the institutional is okay, but for the retail investor, especially in Thailand, it's impossible. So that's like trying to change sales to be understand analysts, okay, and can translate analyst word, analyst world to the real world.
Fantastic.
Okay. Yeah, that helps a lot. And I also 25 years ago, I'm an investor too. I'm not just an analyst. 25 years ago, I started to invest, and I know what investor want too, because I'm not just working and just I'm investing too.
Fantastic.
And today I still invest, but my portfolio is hurt.
Yeah. Everybody's portfolio is hurt.
Yeah, right.
Everybody's portfolio is hurt. All right. Well, now it's time to share your worst investment ever. And since no one ever goes into their worst investment thinking it will be, tell us a bit about the circumstances leading up to it, and then tell us your story.
Okay. The first I said the conclusion of the mistake investment is I lost more than half of my money. Luckily, it happened at the beginning of my career, so that's not much money. It happened during the Tom Yum Goong crisis.
Okay, so 1997, 1998.
1998, yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yep.
At the first year of my work, the SET index, the Stock Exchange of Thailand index, went up to 1,700 points. That's the almost highest the index in the decade. So somebody said that the stock index went up to 2,000 at that time. Nobody see the sign, but the sign is there, but nobody see it, or maybe ignore it, that it's gonna be crisis in the near future. Nobody know. So, but I believe that what I done is I believe somebody else. I believe what they said, and I not have much knowledge about the investment. Even I'm graduate from the finance. That's a really bad thing. I graduate from the finance and I invest. I shouldn't be know much about the investment, but I believe someone that the stock index is went up and everybody go crazy and greedy. That is the way that I invest. So what I invest is what I ever know that company. That's a bad thing. That's a bad thing. I ever know that company and never analyze that company. Because when you be analyst at the first year of career, you focus only one sector, right?
Yep.
So you don't know other sector. You just know the one exactly sector. So I don't know about the property, but it's that time the property is really hot. It's really hot, the bubble. Everybody know now. But I don't know. And that's time I believe someone and I buy one stock at about 300 baht. 300 baht, 10 US dollar, 300 baht.
And what happened after you bought it?
I bought at almost high and expect to go higher. But actually from 300 baht, it went down to 20 baht in just 3 months.
That's a great lesson that things can fall, individual stocks can collapse.
Right. Right, exactly. But what I learned is, I learned is that don't believe somebody else word too much, too much. Just listen and take it to account and think about it by yourself. And I don't have a knowledge. I think I have a knowledge in the finance, but it's so different when you be the investor. When you be investor, you don't need a complicated finance formula to analyze the company. But I don't know.
Tell me when it started to go down, how did you feel? What did you do? You know,
I feel shocked because of that's my first year and I got a bonus. That's a very great bonus because of market at that time is so good. I got 12 month bonus. 12 months. But my salary is so low at that time. So that not much money. But I lost more than half of that bonus. More than half at bonus. What I feel, you lost money, you feel sad and get back to yourself. Who I am, what happened to me? I'm graduate from USA in finance, but I lost all money in the first investment. What happened? That at the first investment that I got, at the first experience that I got, and it's the worst experience that I got
is worst.
in 25 years. First is worse, but the good is the first.
Yep.
That's not too much money. That's not too much money.
And so what did you do when it started going down and down and you felt bad? At what point did you decide to make a decision that I gotta sell?
Yeah, I sell it at 20 baht.
So you went all the way.
But I'm going to the whole cash and come back. I'm not give up.
Right.
I don't give up because I think the investment is still the good way to do to make the wealth in the future. Right. But I have to thinking it again and find out who I am, who I want to be in terms of investor. What kind of investor I want to be, because in the first year that I invest, I don't know who I am exactly. What I want. I want to make a short-term profit, or I want to make a long-term profit. And but investor is so different. Some people love short-term trading. Some people love long-term investment. I can find myself.
I can hear that. I imagine that you talk to your clients that way, to say the first thing is you have to understand who you are and how you want to invest, and everybody's different.
Right, exactly. It doesn't matter you are short-term trading or you are long-term trading. But in the first place that I invest in the property sector, I just greedy, and I think the short-term trading is a very good idea. But I go back to myself and ask myself that what I want to be. But I think it's that the long-term investment is a good way for me to invest, not a short-term trading. Right. Not a short-term trading, not a greedy. So I'm starting to study in the real investment world, not a finance world. So whoever not study in the finance or economic or in business, you can understand the investment. Doesn't matter who you are. So, but you need to know who am I? What kind of investor I am?
So let's just review. What are the lessons that you've learned from this experience?
The knowledge. I think the knowledge of that. I think the first thing that you have to know who you are, right? Who the investor. What is your long-term goal of the investment? The second lesson is the knowledge. If you want to go in that way, you go to the long investment or the short investment, you have to know the way. I don't say that you have to know about the financial ratio or anything. You have to learn something about the financial ratio. Yes, right, but you don't have to to deeply understand that, but you have to understand what the ratio show you if you want to be the long-term investor, right? But if you want to be a short-term investor, you have to understand the technique to trading well, and you have to know the market well. So the knowledge is very important before you get into the investment. Doesn't matter you give the money to the fund manager, you have to know about investment too. So the who I am and no knowledge is the best lesson that I learned. And the third lesson is not greedy too much. Don't expect the 100% return in 1 year. That you can buy a lottery. It's impossible. Somebody do that, but not all. In 1 million, maybe one people can do it, and they come back and write a book, and you believe it.
But what matters is your money over the long term. That person could lose it later.
Yeah, right. So that the third reason, not too greedy, and that's the way I learned it from the laws at that time. And after that, I'm lost sometimes, some years, but not a lot, not a lot of that. Because I look at the company. If it the way I look at the investing in the company, I try to think about just the company can survive in this situation, can company pass the crisis, if it's still okay and can be past the crisis and can grow it back again, I'm okay with the drop of the price. But if it's not, I have to sell it. So I'm better learning about it, and I'm more focused. What I learned after that, I'm more focused on the dividend, not the capital gain, on the dividend. So I buy stock, I'm accumulating the stock because I want the long-term cash flow, not the short-term. So I'm gonna be the owner of the business. They're not gonna sell their share, the owner. The owner of City Group in Thailand, the owner of the PTT, the owner of the 7-Eleven or something like that in Thailand. So they're not gonna sell their share. They hold it for the long term and get the dividend. So I invest just like trying to increase cash flow every year.
Got it. Okay.
So
I think that's great advice. And let me say a few things about what I took away from your story. You know, I want to tell you that I've now interviewed more than 200 people about their worst investment ever. And I've realized that there's 6 common mistakes. The most common mistake, number 1, is people fail to do their research. And that is what you mentioned when you started. You just picked the company even though you didn't know much about it. The second most common mistake is that people fail to properly assess and manage risk. And I think about assess risk is how you look at it before you buy it. And manage risk is how you manage it after you buy it. And that has to do with, you know, diversification. You know, in those days, you know, I did the same when I was young, that I'd buy one stock because somebody said it. I put all my money on one, but now I know that in order to reduce risk, we need to have a more diversified portfolio. The third mistake that people make is that they're driven by emotion or flawed thinking. And I think in your case, it wasn't that mistake so much. The fourth mistake is misplaced trust. Many people lose their money because they trust the wrong people. And number 5, number 5 was failed to monitor their investment. There's many people, they just put their money in something and then they don't even look at it. And then number 6, the final one, is that they invested in a startup company and they lost all their money.
Okay, that's a classic mistake, startup company.
Definitely. And the problem about startup is it's a lot different from a stock or a portfolio. It's all or nothing. You're either gonna make it or you're gonna lose it all.
Yeah, right. Exactly. It's just like your bet. You can put some money in there, but not a lot. But not a lot.
Fantastic. All right, now let me ask you, based upon what you learned from this story and what you continue to learn, I mean, you've learned so much over the years. What one action would you recommend our listeners take to avoid suffering the same fate? Think about that young man or woman who's got some money now. They've had a good job. They've made good money. They want to make their first investment. What one piece of advice, one piece, would you give them?
Okay. I still focus on the knowledge before invest.
Got it.
Okay.
Yep.
Doesn't matter how much you have, how much you earn. Keep your money safe first before you starting to invest anything. I'm not talking about stock only. It's talking about maybe cryptocurrency. If you want to go in, even the watch, even the painting, even wine or anything. If you want to invest, you have to know them well. So the knowledge is very important before you get in, because the knowledge is everything. You can learn a lot, and if you not, when you learn, but maybe it's not the right way to go, you have to learn from the experience. That's a knowledge. That's a knowledge. So that's a my advice, because the next question, the next question of you is what is my goal in the next 12 months?
Yes.
So that is from my advice. It came from my advice, because of knowledge is very important. So my dream is maybe not the next 12 months, but for the rest of my life. From now on, I'm dream that I can give the knowledge to the people that want to go to invest in the stock market, to the Thai people, to everybody in Thailand, understand about the investment and how they benefit from investment, and how Thai people can have financial freedom without help of the government.
Right.
That's my dream. That's my
beautiful.
dream. So that's why I wrote the book in Thailand. Maybe you never read it. You probably got it in Thai.
I would read it very slowly, unfortunately. What is the title of your book?
I have my book in my, you can see now. You can not see the podcast, right? Okay, it's a book about value investor. But from my experience, because when I worked for 20 years, I know what the way to invest. So I write the book, and so that the book, that the income from the book, I'm donate all. Right. I donate all.
Great.
So I want to know. I want to tell the people that I want to give you the knowledge for free. For free, so everybody can reach that knowledge. So my dream is how Thai people can be, maybe half of them, not all, half of them, or 10-20% of them, because right now it's only 5% can have financial freedom after retirement. So I want to be the half of people, Thai people can be that, can be have a financial freedom by getting them to have financial knowledge. So
great.
I don't know what it will be, what is gonna happen in the future. Maybe I'm retired early and going to school, or going to work for government
and share the message.
Do that. I'm not. How Thai people learn more about the money, because when in Thailand, when you say about the money, the most people in Thailand, not the most, a lot of people in Thailand say about greedy. When you say the amount of money, you say about greedy. You say it's a sin. Money is a sin. So that is not. If you look at the money in a different angle.
Right. Yep. Well, I know in the Christian religion, it talks about the love of money is a sin. Money is a neutral thing. And I always say that in my own life, I've had times that I've had money. I've had times that I didn't have money, but my happiness is not tied to my money. I
Right,
can be
exactly.
happy. I remember when I was 18 years old and I didn't have any money. I couldn't go to university, but I was so happy. I lived in a little apartment in Ohio, in Kent, and I basically had a job and I was independent and making a little bit of money, and I felt really happy. I had good friends, and I always go back to that time in my mind to remember that even when you don't have almost any money, you can still be happy. And when you have a lot of money, it doesn't guarantee you're happy.
Right, exactly. But sometimes don't afraid about the money. So if you have money, exactly, it's better than you don't have money, and you can have happy and money together. And but in the real life that if you don't have money, I think it's not much money, not you don't be to go rich, to be rich people. That I'm not sure that you can just have enough money to have a life, to have a good life and have a happy life.
Good. All right. Well, listeners, there you have it. Another story of loss to keep you winning. To find more stories like this, previous episodes, and resources to help you reduce your risk, go to myworstinvestmentever.com. And as we end, Kavee, I want to thank you for coming on the show. I know it's not easy talking about our losers, but
welcome. I really appreciate that.
So let me ask you, do you have any parting words for the audience?
I would like to say good luck for everybody to go into the investment world, and it's very fun, very happy to do that. If you have a happy investment, that's a good thing to have. Okay.
Fantastic. Well, that's a wrap on another great story to help us create, grow, and most importantly, protect our wealth. Fellow risk takers, I'll see you on the upside.